everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the brand new, gorgeous, disgusting, fantastic Rat Ogors. These are the brand new models from Skaventide, which Games Workshop have very kindly sent me early to build up and paint for all of you, and I'm having an absolute blast doing this at the moment. It's great fun, and well, what we're going to do is we need to explain things first, because what we've got three Rat Ogors, and all three of them are going to look slightly different. There are definitely some crossovers, which we will point out as we go along. But what we're going to do is basically paint all three of them sort of one by one. There's going to be crossover, as mentioned. So, for example, we're going to start off with all of the flesh, but they look complicated, but actually when you break them down, they're not too difficult. So we have fur, we have the underskin, we have the metallics and stuff, and then we have the clothes. So really quite simple in many ways. Anyway, like I said, we're going to be painting them all one by one with three different sort of fur recipes for your Rat Ogors, so you can follow along, or you can just do one of each, or one recipe across all three. The choice is of course yours. They're your models. Anyway, we're going to jump in and start painting in just a second. They've all been primed in grace here, just like the rest of the Skaven. And, well, we're going to grab our paints, grab our brushes, and we'll be right back. So the place we're going to start across all three of our Rat Ogors is, as mentioned, in all the kind of, well, rents in the flesh. Now, on this one, we've got the large shoulder just there. So the colour we're going to be using first for this is Guilliman Flesh. And, well, actually, we're just going to start here on the underside on this chap's chest. So we're going to apply this like so. And then we're going to go on the hunt for more. So there's a big one there, obviously. And then we've got the shoulder here. There's a big bit of warp stone right there in the shoulder, which we're just going to avoid. But don't worry about avoiding the cracks. That'll be fine. But keep an eye out. You can generally see a seam. So just there. And as mentioned, we're going to do this across all three of our Rat Ogors. Okay, so with all of that Guilliman Flesh applied, we're now going to get confusing. So we're going to start with all of our fur and flesh. So on this individual, we're going to do the other two separately. What we're going to do is we're going to take some Nuln Oil. We're going to apply this over the top of all of the skin and fur, just for the moment. For our next individual, we're going to use Agrax Earthshade over the top of all of the skin and hair. Fur. It's fur. It's not hair. And for our third Rat Ogre, we're going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. I'm going to apply this over the top of all of the hair and flesh. I did it again. Fur and flesh. So now that our first coats have been done across all three of our Rat Ogres, we're now going to go back to the one that we did with Nuln Oil. And the colour we're going to be using first here, well, second, is going to be some Black Templar. But what we're going to do is we're going to thin it down. So roughly 3 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Black Templar mix. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start up here on the back by applying this. Like this sort of thing. We're going to bring it down over the top of there, like that, over that bit of hair. Bring it around the edge, like so. And keep covering it over the hair, like that, all the way down the tummy. Once we've done that, wash the brush, touch off the water, and just mop up any kind of hard transitions by just blending them out a little bit, just like we're doing here. And then we're going to keep going, and we're going to do this now literally all over the rat. So we're going to head up here over the roof, over his back. It's not a roof. And we're going to basically apply this over the top of the entirety of the back. A bit of an overspill there on the fleshy bit, so we're just going to go in there and mop that up. There we go. Oh, we've done it on there as well. Hang on. Wash the brush. You can see it's dried a little bit there, so we've got a little line, but that's okay. It'll just be a mark in the skin. And we get this all over the top. Just like this, over that little clump of hair there. Then we're going to wash the brush, and then once again just give it a bit of the blends, like so. We're going to bring this down the arm, like that. Wash the brush. Give it a little blend just here. And then we're going to apply it over the top of the rest of the forearm. And do it on the underside of the arm as well. Bring it right the way around. Like that. And then one more. Wash the brush. Give the blends around the bicep. Like that. Got this half of the body to do, but this one's a little bit easier. Then we can just apply this like so. Give it a wash. And give it the blends. And then all that's left to do after that is the legs, at which point we're just going to apply this like so, down towards the knee, bring it all the way around, do it over the knee, wash the brush, and then remove by blending it down into the leg, like that. And so next up we have our Agrax Earthshade one here, and well, we're going to do basically the exact same thing over the top of this one, only this time what we're going to do is we're going to use a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Ratling Grime. So it's the same type of blending, just a different colour. And so for our third Rat Ogre, the one we did with the Reikland Fleshshade, we're going to do the same thing again. Only what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Cygor Brown mix. And we're going to apply this over the top, and again do the same sort of blending in the same places. So on the legs, around the chest, down the neck, etc., etc. So with that done, as you can see, we've got our 3 different sets of rat flesh going on across all 3 of our Rat Ogres. Looking pretty good. I think so, at least. There's our Nuln Oil one. Like that. There's our Agrax Earthshade and Ratling Grime one. Here we go. And here is our Reikland Fleshshade and Cygor Brown one. There we go, looking great. So now what we can actually do is we can go back to painting consistently, which is nice, because that's the main thing really out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking some Gore-Grunta Fur, and we're going to apply this over top of all of the talons, teeth, toenails, that kind of thing. So with that then done, we actually did it over the nose and over the top of the ears as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 3 parts Gryph-Hound Orange to 1 part Gore-Grunta Fur mix. And we're going to apply this over the top of the cloth. This is the kind of moulder colour that we're after. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion and we're going to apply this over the top of any leather, which in this case is actually just pretty much the belt. So with that Black Legion applied, we actually did also apply this over the top of this large inner cable and over the top of this little bit of wrap here, but not over all of the cables. But before we get to those cables, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Wyldwood and we're going to apply this over the top of the sort of wooden belt buckles they've all got. Like that. And we're also going to apply the Wyldwood over the top of this bit of rope. And so with that done, we're then going to take some Dark Angel's Green and we're going to apply this over top of any warp stone and all the other cables. And with that Dark Angel's Green applied, we're then going to take some Blood Angel's Red, just a small amount of this here. I'm going to apply this over the top of the eyes. And so with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to apply this over the top of all the metallic bits. Now we are going to vary this up a little bit, but just for now we're going to get this over the top of all of them. And if we manage that, then we can kind of take it on a model by model basis, rather than kind of being too prescriptive here, because they are a bit of a mishmash. So the metallics should also be a bit of a mishmash. So with that all done, what we can now do is we can take some thinned down Runelord Brass. We're going to use this to add that little bit of variation. So we're going to apply this over the top of the barrel here, like so. And we'll also apply it over the top of this kind of venti bit here. Like that. I'm going to apply it over the top of the large ball canister type thing, built into the shoulder. Like so. And we'll also go for this little pipe. So with that all done, it's now time to add some shades. So the first of these is going to be some Berserker Bloodshade. And we're going to use this over the top of the flesh. What I mean by that, of course, is the kind of interior flesh. Just to give it a little bit more of a raw appearance. And with that Berserker Bloodshade applied, we're then going to take some Biel-Tan Green. I'm going to use this to shade all the green. So any warpstone and any cables. And for our final shade, we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to use this to shade both the Runelord Brass and the Iron Warriors. So with all those shades applied, our Rat Ogres are now all at what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. And I think they're looking pretty cool. However, what we're not going to do is leave them there. We're going to in fact take them to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some highlights. Now, the first of these is going to be a dry brush. And this is going to be some Pallid Witch Flesh. And on our Nuln Oil and Black Templar guy, we're going to dry brush this over the top of his fur and flesh. So with that Pallid Witch Flesh dry brush applied to this Rat Ogre, what we're then going to do is we're going to take our Agrax Earthshade Rat Ogre, and we're going to take some Karak Stone. We're going to dry brush this over the top of the hair and flesh. And then for our third dry brush, over the top of our Reikland Fleshshade one and Cygor Brown, we're going to take some Knight-Questor Flesh. I'm going to dry brush this over the top of all the dark brown hair, as it won't do anything over the top of the lighter parts of the hands, but that's okay. So with that all done, still sticking with this guy just for the moment, because what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down flayed one flesh, and we're going to use this to highlight his skin, only his skin because it needs it, because the others, they don't need it because they've been dry brushed. However, what we are going to do across all of them is we're going to use this to highlight the kind of rawer underskin that we did with the Guilliman Flesh. No. Right, yes, Guilliman Flesh and Berserker Bloodshade. So what we want to do is, for example, these carved runes, we just want to pick them out. So with that flayed one flesh all applied, what we're now going to do is move on from skin, and we're actually going to paint in, well, highlight the clothes. So the colour we're going to be using for this is some thinned down Deathclaw Brown. We're just going to be picking out all those edges in the cloth. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Moot Green, and we're going to use this to highlight all the warpstone and all of those pipes. With that Moot Green all applied, we're then going to take a tiny amount of Trollslayer Orange. I'm just going to apply this as a little dot right in the middle of each of the eyes. Like that. And with that Trollslayer Orange applied, we're then going to take some Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to highlight any teeth. So with that all done, it's now time to take some thinned down Ironbreaker. I'm going to use this to highlight all of our silver. And so with that all done, we're going to finish things off now by taking some thinned down Canoptek alloy. I'm going to use this to highlight all the brass. And so with their bases now complete, our Rat Ogres are now finished. And These are an absolute wonderful addition, or reimagining, for the Skaven, and they're great in the box of Skaventide. I really liked this, I really enjoyed painting this, and coming up with those skin and fur recipes was a lot of fun. I like having 3 distinct ones. Could just pick one, or you could do all 3. The choice is yours. But I hope you enjoyed this one and found it useful as always. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.